Alright, Pythagorean theorem is what we use for right triangles. And the Pythagorean theorem says that a leg squared plus a leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Usually we use a and b for our two legs, so we say a squared plus b squared equals, and then we use c for the hypotenuse equals c squared. As long as you have two of them, you can find the other one. For this rectangle, we're going to find the length of the diagonal, which is right here. Now, is that diagonal a leg or a hypotenuse for this triangle? It's a hypotenuse, which tells us it's got to be the longest side. So it's got to be more than 14. I don't know what it is, but it's got to be more than 14. To figure out exactly what it is, we square the legs, 10 squared plus 14 squared, and that's got to equal our hypotenuse squared, c squared. So we have 100 plus 196 equals c squared. So we have 296 equals c squared. And now we're going to take the square root of both sides. This is when we would normally put plus or minus in front of it. But since c represents the length of a side, we're not going to put plus or minus. We can't have a negative hypotenuse. So the length of that side is the square root of 296. You do want to go ahead and simplify that square root. 148 to 74 to 137. That's not going to simplify anymore because that's prime, so we have 4 times 74, so that's 2 root 74 is equal to c, and we're just going to leave these as square roots most of the time. You can estimate if they want you to estimate to the nearest whole number. 74 is between what two perfect squares? Well, it's in between 64 and 81, so it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 9. It looks like it's a little bit closer to 9. Let's estimate it to be 9, so then we would do 2 times 9 is 18. So C would be about 18 units. Here we're going to be working on finding the length of the diagonal of a square. Since these are all squares, this side is 5 and this side is 5, and we're looking for the diagonal. Well, with a square, you know your legs are the same, but we still do 5 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. So 25 plus 25, so 50 equals c squared. And then we take the square root. So the square root of 50 equals c. We simplify that. That is 25 times 2, so c equals 5 root 2. For the next one, we have a side length of 3. So we're going to say, and we're still looking for this length, that's our c, 3 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. 9 plus 9 is 18. And if we take the square root of both, this is 9 times 2. So that is 3 root 2. So c is equal to 3 root 2. For the next one, they're both 7. And I'm doing a lot of these so that you see the pattern that's developing. Our legs are both 7, so we have 7 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. 49 plus 49 is 98. Now we take the square root. 98 is 49 times 2, so that's 7 root 2. c equals 7 root 2. What do you notice is the same about all 3 of these? You have the side length of whatever your square was, and then they're all times root 2. And root 2 is about 1.4. So it's going to be about 1.5 times longer. The diagonal of a square is going to be about 1.5 times longer than the length of each side. So if this is x, we know that the diagonal of that square, c, is going to be x times whatever the square root of, times the square root of 2. All right, good luck.